Good evening. This is Clarence William with another edition of Now and Then. I want to talk to you about the fight for midterm election. The fight for midterm election, a very, very important time in the history of the United States of America. Next November 2026. The fight is already on. This is what the Republicans, or this is what Donald Trump want to do. He want to win the keep the House and keep the Senate next year for the Republicans. Why? Because if he does not keep the House or does not keep the Senate for Republicans, then he knows that the Democrats is going to fight him tooth and nail for the next 2 years of his presidency. And so it's very important that he uh, fight to keep the House and keep the Senate under Republicans' control. The first thing he wished to do now, he went to the governor of Texas, and he wants the governor of Texas to redistrict at least 5 districts and make the boundaries such that the Republicans will have the advantage, and he believed, and Governor Abbott believed that they will then pick up those 5 seats, which would mean that the Democrats that hold those seats will be put out of office. That increases their chances of keeping the House and keeping the Senate. Now, one of those that's going to be put out, if they are successful in doing that, is Jasmine Crockett. And you know that she's a very vocal person against Donald Trump and the things that he is trying to do. And she is calling out the Republicans for their lack of leadership. And so by doing that, instead of him going directly at her, he just went to Texas to Governor Abbott and says, redistrict those districts, and then we will naturally get rid of her. You know, they're not saying that, but that's in essence is what they are doing. Now, let me share with you what they believe. They believe that despite all of the confusion that's going on in the United States, specifically, they believe with the Republicans responsible, Trump responsible for the loss of so many jobs, for the loss of cutting of funding for Medicare and Medicaid and SNAP programs, for defunding all of the agencies around the government, uh, all of this confusion that's going on with the tariffs, that's going on with the high cost now of living going up, inflation is going up, everything that's happening that is causing the Republicans not to hold town hall meetings now, even in Texas, because they know that their constituents is going to be raging mad and talking against what they are doing or what they are allowing Trump, President Trump, to do. Even despite all of that, they just believe that if they redraw those district boundaries, that the Republicans, despite all of their anger, despite all of their talk about what they don't agree with that's going on, that they still will vote Republicans and give Donald Trump more control over the House and over the Senate. That's what they believe. And you know what? I believe they are right. I see town hall after town hall, those that will hold it, those constituents in those particular districts uh, up in arms and criticizing and talking about the respective representatives and what they are doing or not doing and what they are allowing Donald Trump to do. I see all of that anger. And yet and still, we still see the Republicans, Donald Trump still holds at least a 45 or 46% approval rating. Now, he's been holding that ever since he came down the escalator. And so when you see Donald Trump numbers going down and you say, well, he still has 49% or 44%, that's what he's been having all the time, and he's still winning. So don't believe the hype. People telling you that they are in trouble. They are not in trouble. The problem is that the Democrats don't know how to fight. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris says no, she's not going to run for the governorship of California. Okay, that's good. She says she's going to help other people get elected or get re-elected. That's good. But I don't believe Kamala Harris know how to fight. I don't believe she fully understood the fight that she was in when she was running for the presidency. Liz Cheney stepped up and said that Trump is an existential threat to our democracy. Kamala Harris said that, echoing what Liz Cheney said, but I don't think Kamala Harris fully understood it. And now that she has lost the presidency, I think that really did something to her. I've listened to her comments and her talking after it. I've just finished reading some of the comments that she has said, but I don't see the fight. I don't see the fight. Haake Jeffries. Remember when they were going to get rid of Mike Johnson? Remember when they were going to call a vote and get rid of Mike Johnson? I forget the lady in Georgia that was going to do it. And then Haake Jeffries stepped in with his caucus and they saved Mike Johnson's leadership in the House. Well, when they saved Mike Johnson leadership in the House, that's the same Mike Johnson that brought the votes to pass the big, beautiful bill. That's the same Mike Johnson that supports Donald Trump and will not bring any bill to the floor that will say something or go against Donald Trump. That's the same Mike Johnson. And what Haake Jeffries did was allowed the vote that will get rid of Mike Johnson to be approved in favor of Mike Johnson. And as a result of that, that Mike Johnson is the one that brought the Republicans together. Remember last year it was all chaotic and everything? It's Haake Jeffries and his vote and his caucus that saved the Republicans. They would have still been in disarray. They still would have been voting now, trying to confirm another Speaker of the House if Haake Jeffries did not do that. And what Haake Jeffries said, the reason why he did it was because he was fighting for the people. Yes, I'm fighting for the people. You're fighting for the people and you're losing. The Republicans are fighting against the people and they are winning. You figure it out. And then Chuck Schumer. Remember when they had the continuing resolution for the budget? And Chuck Schumer stepped up and said, listen, I'm not going to allow the government to be shut down because that's going to hurt people. Donald Trump and the Republicans don't care nothing about shutting the government down, but they are winning. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are concerned about shutting the government down, and they are still losing. Now, with all of this going on and with everything that's happening in Texas and all over the country right now, people are up in arms, and the Republicans are still in favor of winning back the House, of maintaining the House, and maintaining the Senate. How could that be? Because the Democrats just don't know how to fight. They are viewed as being weak. And we haven't found someone to take the helm and say, listen, I will fight. Now, look at what we have. We have Gavin Newsom, governor of California. He's a fighter. I can see that in him. I'm not really keen on the way he's fighting, but you have to take what you get. I can see Karen Bass, the mayor of LA. I can see her fighting, not really uh, agreeing with how she's fighting. And the reason why I say that about Kevin Newsom and Karen Bass, when you see a decision being made against Donald Trump from the courts, Donald Trump openly says something about the judge or something about the courts that made that decision. But Kevin Newsom and Karen Bass knew that they had lost the fight in California concerning uh, the soldiers and the National Guard when Donald Trump ordered them to go in there. They stood on television and they talked about Donald Trump this and Donald Trump that, but not one of them said they disagreed with the decision of the courts. They don't know how to fight. Of course, they are fighting, and I can get that. How about Liz Cheney? I believe in Liz Cheney. I believe Liz Cheney is a fighter, unlike Kamala Harris. It was Liz Cheney, a Republican, that defied Donald Trump and still went on national television and supported and endorsed a Democrat, Kamala Harris, and still stood her ground against Donald Trump. And she's still doing it. But where is Kamala? Where is she? I believe in Liz Cheney. How about Michelle Obama? I believe in Michelle Obama. I think she's a fighter. I don't believe that Michelle would be sitting right beside Donald Trump, skinning and grinning. I don't believe that. But I did see her husband do that, Barack. And the same Donald Trump that Barack was sitting beside, skinning and grinning, is the same Donald Trump that is now investigating him. Donald Trump is fighting. But the uh, statements that Barack put forth is confusing. Why? Because you sit right beside the man and you skin and grin, but then when you get on to make a statement, you are totally against him and he's this and he's that. Listen, but Michelle would never do that. If Michelle is against you, she's against you. And she's not going to sit beside you and skin and grin. She's a fighter. Alexander Ocasio Cortez. Hope I got her name right. AOC. She's a fighter. It was she and Bernie Sanders that started out on this campaign, going from town to town, city to city, holding those big rallies. She and Bernie Sanders was the only two that was doing that. She's a fighter. She's the one that was standing on the floor, along with Cory Booker, along with Bernie Sanders. They were the one that's standing there talking against what the Republicans are doing. They are the ones out front. I believe AOC. I believe Bernie Sanders. I believe Cory Booker. I believe they are fighters. I think they were fighters just like Martin Luther King. was a fighter. I believe they are fighters just like John McCain was a fighter. I believe they are fighters just like John Lewis was a fighter. I believe they were fighters. They are fighters just like Malcolm X was a fighter. And that's what we need. I believe also Kamala made a good statement when she said we don't need just one person. We need more than one person that is leading and trying to get things done. But guess what the Republicans have? They have one person. They have one person. And ever since he was elected or nominated or chosen as the Republicans' candidate for presidency back against, what's her name? Uh, Back when she was running for presidency, my mind just goes blank. But whatever her name was, when they selected him as the candidate, he is the candidate. And they have been with him ever since. And even when he lost, they were still with him. And for the whole 4 years, they were out there fighting, even when he had lost. They were still fighting. Now, when Kamala lost, you don't hear nothing. It's almost like, okay, we're waiting for midterm. We're waiting for the next 4 years. But when you gonna start the fight? When you gonna start the fight? I just don't know when the fight is gonna come. But I do know that there are some that are out there fighting. And as long as you are fighting, I'm with you. A fighter is not someone that agrees with everybody. That's Hakeem Jeff. As long as he can keep his caucus unified, voting together, he think he's winning. No. Sometimes a leader has to go against the grain and then convince others to follow you. Sometimes that's what you have to do. And I don't see Hakeem Jeffries doing that. And because I don't see him doing that, I see him still trying to just make peace. That's not a leader. A leader knows what the rules are, know what the game is, and then know what fight he or she is in. And when you know the fight that you are in, Hillary Clinton, that's the name that I wanted. I think Hillary Clinton is a fighter. I would vote for her. I would vote for Gavin Newsom. I would vote for Karen Bass. I would vote for Liz Cheney. I would vote for Alexander Ocasio Cortez. You'll excuse me on that one. I would vote for Barry Sanders. I would vote for Cory Booker. Yeah, I would vote for them. Yeah, because I see them as fighters. Other people has to still show me something because I do not see. I would vote for Michelle Obama if she ever would run. But Michelle is kind of like uh, uh, Kamala Harris in that sense. I mean, she's saying, listen, I see all the chaos, I see all the wrongness going on, and I just don't want no part of it. But what she's still saying that if you ask me my opinion, I will let you know. I'm not going to stand there and sit there and skin and grin with you. I will let you know. I would vote for Jasmine Crockett because she's a fighter. Anyone that will fight, I would vote for. This is the fight for midterm election. And if the Democrats is going to win, if they're going to be successful with all of the chaos that's going on right now, why do they have to even put forth a serious fight? It should be a cakewalk, but it's not. The main reason why it's not because of Donald Trump. It's not because of the Republicans and the strength that they have. It is because of the weakness of the Democrat Party. This is Clarence Williams. This is another edition of Now and Then. If I'm wrong, tell me. If I'm missing something, let me know. Have a great day. Bye bye.